Okay, hi guys, here we go. I'm doing this is my second video for Photoshop. I'm using Photoshop 7.0, and I'm going to try and show new artists a few tips on how to make a lot of images for custom items on Star Wars Combine. So that's my little welcome screen that I made real quick. Now today we're gonna work on a Med Nebulon frigate. This is a real common ship in the game, large ship, as you can see. This image is white because it's I guess it's like an ambulance type of ship. So it has these red colors and a white paint job, and then this green little medical bay or docking bay, whatever that is down there. So we might just remove some of that color from the ship so we can color it whatever we want, and come up with a nice color scheme for it. So that's what we're gonna do today, and we're gonna do that by making selections of the ship's outline, and then after making that selection, selecting some of the parts of the ship based on the lines that are in the stock image, to color parts of the ship one color. So we're going to start off by making our selection, and since this is a bright white ship on a black background, that shouldn't be hard to do. I'm going to use the magic wand tool, which selects by color. Most of the other selection devices, the marquee tools and the lasso tools, select by the location of the pixels. This is going to the magic wand tool is going to select every pixel of a black color, or close to it. The tolerance setting, how to explain this? The higher your tolerance setting is, the more variation the magic wand tool is willing to deal with, coming from pixels that might be close to black but aren't exactly the same color. It shouldn't really affect this image that much. Now the contiguous checkbox, you can see that that's also checked. What that means is that all the black pixels that I'm gonna be able to select with one click of the magic wand have to be touching another black pixel. So if there was a black circle or square in the middle of the ship somewhere, and I clicked back here in the background, it wouldn't select that part unless it touched an edge of the ship. Finally, I have the use all layers checkbox checked. If you're not familiar with layers, they are a bit like transparencies that are laid over your image. The top one shows as being on top, the top layer does. Your layers can be clear, it can have a small circle, you could have duplicates of this ship with other layers sandwiched in between. It makes it possible to create and edit documents using layers. Alright, so we'll go ahead and select the black pixels by clicking somewhere in the background. And then, since we want to select the actual ship and not the background, we're going to invert our selection by holding Shift, Control, and I in Photoshop 7. Now I have the ship selection. It looks pretty good. It doesn't look like there are pixels being inside the ship that have been selected, except for maybe right here on the back side of the ship. So I'm going to use my polygon lasso tool to fix that, hold down shift, and then trace a area where that black mark is that got selected to add those pixels to my selection. Now what we're going to do is create a couple adjustment layers. The first one is going to be a hue and saturation layer, which you can use to change the color of pretty much any selected pixels. You can see you can turn that red area green, blue. I'm sure you can turn it purple and yellow, all that too. But in this situation, we're not concerned with that. We're actually trying to take the color out of the image. So we're going to do that by turning the saturation all the way down, all the way off. And now we just have a big white ship. We're going to add another adjustment layer here, a brightness contrast layer, because this ship's a little bit too white, and the client I'm making it for likes this ship's dark. So we're going to turn down the brightness, which normally I don't use it that much. This ship's just, it's really bright, so I'm turning it down. And then I'm also going to turn up the contrast, give it that ship some more shadows into it. Okay. Now I made these layers again before earlier. Let's see how they compare. About the same. Now, in order to select my some panels off the ship that I'm going to color, in this situation I'm going to color them red. We're going to want to zoom into it. Now I zoom using the navigator pane, which I have in the top right. You can slide this bar back and forth to zoom your image, and then you can drag the little square around the miniature thumbnail of your image there to move the part you're zoomed in on around. So I'm just going to show you how we work with this polygonal lasso tool, which is definitely my favorite of the three lasso tools. And you can see that every time the selection here, what's going to be the selection, changes direction, I'm clicking the mouse. That's how the polygonal lasso tool works, and it always goes in a straight line. The regular lasso tool goes wherever you move the mouse, as long as you have it held down, and I'm just not that dexterous with the mouse yet, or probably ever will be, for that tool to be particularly useful to me. There we go. We're selecting this whole white area. I just noticed that it goes back beneath a shadow back there, so I've got that selected. Now we're going to move to the next part. Let's say this little bay right here, and we're going to hold down shift as we continue to use the tool, so that Photoshop knows I'm adding to a current selection, not replacing it. So you see the area of the hull that I just selected remains while I'm adding this selection here. And so on and so forth. Okay, I have a selection saved for this image, so we don't have to go through all of that. So I'm going to load that up now. I also saved the selection of the ship. Let me pull that up again and show you how I did that. Once you have a good outline like this of any image that you're working with, I recommend saving a mask. First you save your file. That's important, and then you go to select, save selection, and then I would name this one outline, something like that. Doesn't matter the name really, as long as you remember it. And that saved selection can be reloaded at any time, and it's also known as a mask. When you hear graphic artists talk about masking, that's what they're talking about. The mask is normally a black and white document with the background black and whatever selection you have white if you just load up the mask as a standalone file. We're going to load a selection here that I made. It's called red, and it's just parts of the ship. But I did notice one thing I want to fix on it, so I'm going to do that, because I noticed this white part here goes further back, so I'm going to hold down shift, take that where it's supposed to go. Oops, that's no good. Now we'll create a new layer. Well, that's what we're going to do with it, but I'll show you how we do it. So zoom us back out. I've got my red color selected here in the color picker. You can click anywhere in here for whatever color that pixel is, right in the middle of the of your little round cursor there. Or you could also click on any pixel in your image, and that'll turn your foreground color to whatever color that particular pixel is. So we have our color selected. We're gonna select the paint bucket tool and paint it. There we go. Now I can deselect that and then just fool with the opacity a little bit, so you can see the ship a little bit through this. I'm adjusting down the overall opacity as well as the fill opacity. I find it's better to use both than one or the other in most instances. And then we're going to apply a blending option to our red area, and that's going to be not a blending option, just a blending style. So we'll go through those. That's the normal: dissolve, darken, multiply, color burn, which doesn't look too bad. I think I'm going to be using linear light on this one though. Linear dodge, those all look too pink. Hard light looks okay. Vivid light is good, except for those white areas within my red selection. When I use linear light, I don't really have that problem. So that's going to be the look I'm going for with this. There's another. So I have two of those red layers now, because I did it earlier, and I did one for you guys, and that looks pretty good with two of the red layers that are both a little bit opaque. You can still see the panels and the markings on the layer, but the red is still looking bright and vibrant. So that's another thing that you can do in Photoshop. So that's it for now. I'm going to try and keep these podcasts or videos short whenever that's possible, and just break them up into more sections if someone really wants to see a lot. So with that, thanks a lot, and we will see you next time.